And now to our interview segment. As usual, we'll look at some of the happenings of the past week and, of course, some issues that have refused to go away. My guest, Mr. Falana, SAN, is very well known for speaking boldly against impunity and for championing the protection of fundamental human rights, evidenced by his defense of the soldiers charged with mutiny. These and other issues form the core of our discussion in this interview. You are involved with the general court-martial of 59 soldiers charged with mutiny. Without going into the merit and demerits of the case, would you say that a time has come for a reform of the process, especially now that reporters are being barred from covering the proceedings and telling the world what is going on at the general court-martial?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, there is no basis for banning the media from covering the proceedings. And I'm going to take that up in the sense that the authorities invited the press, the media, ab initio, to cover the proceedings. The president of the court delivered the prepared address to assure the accused persons and the Nigerian people that everything was going to be done in the open, in a transparent manner. We never called for it. It is therefore surprise that midway into the trial, we are being told that for certain security considerations, the press should no longer cover the proceedings. It is not, with profound respect, it's not our procedure. The star witness of the prosecution has given evidence, has told the world what the accused persons did. So the accused persons must also tell their own story, because under the Constitution, Section 36 of the Constitution, the prosecution and the defense are entitled to equal rights and opportunities under the law. But apart from that, it has to be appreciated by military authorities in our country that we are no longer under the defunct military junta, whereby trials were conducted in camera. Because I thought it was in realization of the fact that we now operate under a democratic dispensation that the authorities decided on their own to make this trial a public matter. Even in those days, if we were going to have a trial in camera, the prosecution will make an application which the defense might oppose or agree with, and the ruling will be delivered, because the Constitution provides that trials, whether civil or criminal, shall be conducted in the open. If there is going to be a variation on the ground of national security, public health, public defense, or maybe the interests of children is affected, of course, there has to be a proper application, which has to be considered.
And the parties have to agree.
Oh, of course. It's not something you simply, and even then, it's not something you simply decide midway into a trial. Just politely call the press, pressmen and women, ask them to excuse us. No. And the press also has a duty to insist that having brought us into the trial, what offense have we committed? Have we reported anything outlandishly? What? So, with profound respect, it's something that has to be taken up.
Now let's move on to another issue. Your view on the alleged cash for arms delivery controversy between Nigeria and South Africa. Some commentators have described this as contradictory, because in one breath you said the federal government cannot be held vicariously liable for the alleged criminal activities of the Israeli and the two Nigerians directly involved in the deal. And in another breath you said the government should apologize to Nigerians for dragging the name of the country through the mud. How do you explain this?
No, the point I'm trying to make is that so far, the federal government of Nigeria has not been implicated in this whole transaction. What happened was that a contract was given to a company to acquire arms or to buy arms from South Africa. That company sent 3 of its officials, an Israeli and 2 Nigerians, who were alleged to have contravened both our own law and South African law on money laundering by not declaring the money taken out of Nigeria to South Africa. The point I'm making is that while as usual, since we operate in an atmosphere of impunity, the government is not bothered about the criminal action of those 3 guys. But South Africa says no. We have a legal system that does not ordinarily pardon criminals. An offense has been committed by these 3 guys. You say no. We sent them, the office of the NSA said, sorry, we send them on an errand. And they are saying, does not mean they will not comply with our law. And then secondly, when the South African, the office of the National Prosecution Agency asked for details, so, oh, we had to buy arms, good. From whom? It turned out that the company mentioned it's not authorized by law. It has no license to sell or deal in arms. That is number 1. Number 2, that was with respect to the $9.3 million. Number 2, the jet that conveyed the funds, the money to South Africa, belonging to Pastor Ayo Richard Jeffo, has been found to have been registered for evangelism.
Purposes only.
Yeah. To now say that, oh, I leased out the jet to make money. There are problems with that. A church is registered as a non-profit making organization under Part C of the Companies and Allied Matters Act. Secondly, under the Aviation Act, the regulations made to the Aviation Act in 2013, no owner of a private jet is permitted in Nigeria to carry his friends, his or her friends, or to turn it into a kabu-kabu. So laws have been violated here. But South Africa is not bothered about that. I mean, we operate, we don't care about law or legal system or rule of law. But South Africa is saying, even for the second tranche, the second transaction that the government claimed passed through a bank, again, going by the statement issued by the office of the NSA, we're told that what is illegal in this one? After all, the money left Abuja for South Africa. It didn't leave the central bank. It didn't leave the account of the federal government of Nigeria. It left the account of a company in Abuja for the account of another company in South Africa. Indeed, that money was not seized at the airport. It passed through a bank. It was the Standard Bank
That raised flags about it.
that raised flag because it has a duty under the law. Again,